I'm gonna take some of the flyers too. Yeah, I've been telling people there's presentations today. The next one's starting at 1 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what I told him. I was like, I'm missing something. Is it almost 1?
Oh, wait.
Right outside the door. And I'll let people.
Can you hear?
Close this, guys?
Yeah.
I'm coming out there.
Why it's not? It says. Oh wait, there it's on. Okay,
Is it?
the light's on.
But I don't hear any sound.
That's why I like the Roku TV. Fought with those things so many times. The pictures, what I had a problem with, because I tried to use this up here the last time, and it didn't fill the screen. There was always a border because
Oh wait,
Picture
no, the balance.
different from picture. to
Yeah.
picture. And Roku just stretches it. It'll go right to the automatically go to the border, so whichever direction. I didn't want to bring a big Roku screen.
Is it on?
It's on.
I mean, the microphone itself.
I did check.
I gotta say, got the batteries.
So do you like it, Sharon? How would you?
Yeah,
There you go.
I really do. I think I like it a lot better actually.
Change is good.
It is good.
If you don't like it in a few
I hear
months,
there's
then
audio, but I don't
something
hear it
else.
out of the
Exactly,
microphone.
it's a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs
It's a
change.
living, breathing thing,
Good or bad,
right? No, I like it because,
give people a reason to come in again.
yeah, it just feels so much more open
Yeah,
as you walk in. I
Oh, you like it a
I
lot?
do like it a lot.
You don't plug speaker.
It's plugged in. Here, keep tapping on it or something.
Hello? Hello?
Testing.
Testing, 1, 2,
hello,
3.
hello.
Pineapple on the palette.
It's coming over their PA system.
Yeah, I was
Zero.
about to say. Hello?
That would be hilarious.
God. Who is that?
Try it now.
Can you hear me?
No,
There was a sound there a second ago.
there's a hiss coming out of it. So it's just not picking up the microphone for some reason.
Hello? Hello?
If it doesn't work, do I get my money back?
Yeah. Don't get them going.
This is good. People watching in the back. I was going to suggest having it.
We figured since it would, have everyone face this way with everything so that they can hook up any TV.
Tell them to move the line over on that one.
Let's go old school.
Okay. So you don't want this one, huh?
Well, I do, but it doesn't want to work. So.
There we go. Hey, here's testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can anybody hear me? Microphone.
Go ahead, keep going.
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
I hear it.
I hear it too, but why are we not getting good feedback? Am I getting any good? Is it good?
Yeah,
What's the little bit?
should be airplane outside too. I'll check that.
Howard, if you can hear this, open the door. If you can hear this, open the door.
I hear it.
They can? Are you sure?
Can't hear.
I hear something, can you?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is it really going outside too?
I don't know.
Check. Hello, can anybody hear me? We're talking outside. Anybody hear me? How are you, Sharon?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. He's working too hard.
You always work, isn't he?
Yeah,
Look, it's happy.
Yes.
I know.
It goes in and out outside. But,
Okay. I'll be sure to make it go live.
Try again.
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Now I can't even hear it. I can't even hear it now.
Try again.
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Hello? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Keep
Can
going.
anybody hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. If someone can hear me outside, please open the door. Can you hear me outside?
A little bit right here.
Okay. So you did hear it because you opened the door. I'm like, all right, it works.
Keep
Can
going.
anybody hear me?
No, I can't.
Keep
You
going.
can?
I can't hear.
I can't hear anything.
There we
Now
go.
I can. What happened? It was.
You just gotta get close enough to it.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there we
Can
go.
someone hear me? You're gonna have to have your mouth up to the microphone.
Yeah, it's just really sensitive.
Really sensitive.
No.
Anybody hear me? Anybody hear me? Anybody hear me? Anybody hear me? Anybody? Anybody hear me? Anybody? 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 Anybody?
Is this the party to whom I am speaking?
Yes. Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tom.
Yes. I knew what you were getting at there, Howard. This is laughing. And yes, you can sock it to me.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Hello? If this isn't working,
Yeah, you can hear
can
it.
he just talk?
Yeah, you can just talk.
Because all I hear is static and I hear a hiss.
Just, yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't. I mean, she should be able to hear. If the door's closed. She should-
I'm fine.
Okay. So you're welcome to start whenever.
Yep, hang on.
Okay, we have customers now.
He's going to do the Villa City presentation, Mr. Howard is.
Oh,
And then Cheryl Williams will do the Stuckey presentation and then Jason will do the. We are. We got it scheduled. All right, Howard,
Okay.
hang on.
Hang on, hang on.
All right, we're going.
We're going now.
We're going now.
Okey dokey. Wait, can you see the TV from back there?
Can you see the TV from back there, man?
This is what a presentation is. Come on.
Right after lunch is not a good time.
Are you folks from here?
No, we're actually, we're working at the museum in Leesville.
Oh.
So we decided today because it's part of the museum.
Hi, guys.
Okay, okay. Have you ever heard of those things?
Until we go through the getting here today.
You come down the Villa City Road? Yeah, okay.
We don't know where we were, but we were following GPS.
Yeah,
We
well,
got here.
that's what it is. Yeah, you went over the bridge, Little Creek there, the bridge on the Villa City
I
Road.
think so.
Yeah, that was pretty much the middle of Villa City, right around that area.
She read something about Villa City was destined to be an amazing place, but then it didn't happen.
He'll explain that.
I'll tell you about it. If we'll go, we'll go. Okay, that's, got a lot to do with my family, because my great grandfather is the one that first named it Grove City. There were a few people here, but he was the development person. So my family, he's the one that started, he did the map of the Grove City, he took care of all the legal stuff.
This was the proposed city. That was the proposed city?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, this is a mile by a mile by a mile by a mile. That's one section. And then there's a half a mile by a mile. It's a section and a half.
Compass seems like nice lakes.
So we'll start then. Got to give you a little background. Why did they come here? They lived in Baltimore, Maryland. My grandfather was in the Civil War. This is Fort Sumter, if you're not familiar with it. That's where it all started. Okay, this is when the Union still had the fort. This is the early part of the Civil War. And then the Confederates took it over. The Confederates bombed, and we tried to get them out of there, but there's a Confederate flag there, so the fort belonged to the South at that point. This is
Now, where was this?
this is in Charleston, South Carolina, out in
Oh,
the
okay.
bay. Out in the bay. We made tours out of Fort Sumter out there. Yeah, it was. Let's see. This is April 12th, around April 12th, 1861, when the Confederates took over the fort, kicked out all the troops and fired, and that's the beginning of the Civil War. When that happened, Abe Lincoln came out and needed people to serve, to fight the Rebs. So this is a drafting poster to join the U.S. Navy. As any of three ranks, a seaman, an ordinary seaman, or a landsman. And the landsman was what my great-grandfather was when he retired. Never been to sea. If you do that and joined the Navy, you became a landsman. If you've been to sea, then you could come in as a seaman, which was a substantial difference in salary, $2 per month.
Oh, that's a lot.
That was a lot. But you also got $1.50 extra per month for grog money. You know what grog money? Yeah.
Probably needed a lot of
It's
growth.
the Navy, what can I say? That's my great grandfather when he enlisted. That's his picture. He enlisted in 1863, which was actually after the fort was reclaimed by
Oh,
the Union.
17 or 18?
This is, he lied, he was 17. But, you know, he went to Boston and enlisted. That's a typical Civil War Union boat, just full of sailors,
Oh, what a picture.
the old flat hats, you know,
I guess
that was the uniform.
Guess he survived because you're here.
Yep, he survived. That was that was one of the ships he was on, the Nipsic, which was an old tall ship converted to steam, like most of the ships in the war were. And while he was there, he sent several letters back to his mother. My great grandmother. And on one of the letters, he drew a plan of the Nipsic. That was the deck of the boat. Had a 30-pounder up in the front, cannon.
Oh, those are cannons.
Yep, 150 pounds. All the different cannons, 12-pounder, 24-pounder. Yeah, okay. I got about 13. That's the attack of Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter is here, still with a Confederate flag. And this is when the Union came in with all ironclads into. This is Charleston Bay in South Carolina. It's out here on the island, and it was being attacked from all sides and the water. But it was finally successful. The Union reclaimed it in 1863. After that, my grandfather was discharged. He'd been in for just about a year. This is his discharge papers. He was discharged in Boston and said his His age was 18 at that time.
Only turned 18.
Yeah, he finally turned of age, but we got the chance to.
Of course. I'm surprised they let him out. With the
Yeah, that
war.
was a year. That was really pretty much all people would serve for a year now. And then this was Florida about that time.
Oh,
And
great
it
picture.
kind of looks like go down the river and you see the same thing right now.
Oh,
This is an 1880s picture of backwoods in Florida. And then this is the river actually is right where we live now. This tree is not there, but the stump is. I kept falling into the river. And people kept.
Is it, Howard?
Huge oak tree. Oh, yeah.
I'll have to go back out there and see.
Yeah, I gave the people who live there now this picture. And they got it on their wall because they are the ones doing it.
It's like the Oklawaha where we're from.
Yeah, wow, yeah. They look the same, hyacinths and
Yeah.
everything, you know. That's a view of Lake Emma from the north shore of Lake Emma. This is Lake Emma. And that's a view looking at Lake Emma, and then Lake Lucy is in the background, which is on the chain lakes. This is on the Harris chain lakes.
Oh, it's on the Harris chain.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep, goes all the way from Green Swamp, all the way up through Flat Creek, all the way up to Lake Harris.
Oh, my God.
And we're on it.
The
There's several
chain
dams now.
stopped up there.
Yeah.
Nuts.
That's a view from about 1884, 1885, before things really started. Archie Gano and his wife Minnie were already living in the Villa City area.
His second wife.
Second wife, yeah, yeah. They had lots of kids, and several of them are up here on the last pictures in Groveland.
Particularly on the
Yeah,
photo right over
Dolores,
there.
Dolores,
And Elvis Gano and
yeah, Dolores Gano.
And Lois.
She was a sweetheart. Yeah. Anyway, they were here before, or they were here when my grandfather showed up. And he had a sawmill. That's his house. He had built on Lake Emma, on the north shore of Lake Emma, with a few of his kids and everything. But he owned a sawmill. This is a bridge over the Flatlacaha Creek, and his sawmill was in the back here. We got stacks of lumber, all kinds of stuff back here.
They must have done well. Their house was nice.
Were these pictures
Yeah,
of your family?
and that was after Villa City was starting to get populated. The picture was taken.
Were all these
That's
pictures
the
in your
first picture.
family?
Excuse me?
Were all these pictures in your family?
Yeah, well, they're all Villa City. Yeah,
I mean, did you have?
yeah, they're all family.
Because they're wonderful pictures.
Yeah.
He's talking about the pictures, Howard.
These the people themselves.
No, the pictures personally, the ones who took the photos.
Oh, I'll
She
talk
wants-
about the photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah, this is typical everyday afternoon, I guess, except everybody's all dressed up, it seems like. It could be a Sunday. And this is my grandfather holding me when I'm 1 year old. And the reason I have this here is because he was 10 years old when he came down with my great-grandfather to Villa City. And he lived in Villa City for 10 years before they had to go back. What I've got is a recording that he made in 1963, where he was being interviewed in Tavares by the Lake County Historical Society. Rosemary Young sat him down in an old wallen sack, a handheld microphone. You could tell from the noise. So they were moving around when they made the recording. So, and it asked him, all these pictures were in an album, and he had the album. He was going through explaining the pictures. But this is the very beginning of it when he first started. I think. Come on.
Press it and then press it again. Or press it.
Cities made by George Martin King,
Tavares on May 11, 1963. As a small boy, Mr. King lived with his parents, who were pioneers and original settlers at Bill City in Lake County. Mr. George Martin King.
I first found this place by accident. He suffered everyone who very severely with inflammatory rheumatism and was pretty hot. But he was all right in the summertime, so we decided he'd have to live in a warm climate. He was traveling for Colgate and Company, who are now the Colgate Palmolive Company of New York.
Yeah.
And he traveled from New York to Cuba, selling the jogging trade. Well, the Colgate Company suggested that he spend the winter in the South and work his southern territory from a central point. He was in Palatka, and met a surveyor who had been sent down there by the government to make a rough survey of what is now Lake Charlie. It was slumped then at that time, and this particular area. The old government map showed most of the swamp. And they learned that it was a different sort of country, and he was sent down there to investigate. Wanted company, so he bought a horse, a buckboard, and a tent, and the two drove down through the city. My father was so impressed with the beauties of that part of Florida that he decided, having to live in the South, that was where he would like to live. So my father decided he would see what he could do down in town, down here, and he interested people in Massachusetts, relatives and friends, and in Baltimore, where we had been living while he was traveling for Colgate Company. And he organized the Baltimore Orange Grove Association. And they started, he bought up with his associates, he bought up thousands of acres of land. And they planted this 50-acre grove in what became River City.
Cool. That's why they came down here. That's it. Yeah, that was one about 10 years after that picture. 13 years after. Yeah, that's me when I was 1 year old.
Yeah.
That's the house he built in Villa City, on top of the hill. It's absolutely gorgeous. Fireplaces in each of the rooms, downstairs and upstairs. All kinds of foliage.
What year was that?
Well, they moved there to the house in 1885, I believe. And this is a view across Lake Emma. The house was up here on the north side. This was his personal property here. These are 5-acre lots. So it's 20 acres right there where the house was. And the picture was taken from over here, looking at the house, looking at the north shore. His house is right there. And then their little boat, little boathouse down there.
It's a pretty picture.
Yeah, the photographer was amazing. That's his mother's house, my great-great-grandmother. Notice it's a ways from his, he didn't want his mother right next door. So she's next door, but down the road away. And then all around Lake Emma, it was all planted with everything that would grow in the ground. It was just an amazing farm. This is the front yard of the house, that house, looking across the lake. You had 2 little fish ponds out front and fountains in the fish ponds that were spewing water pumped from the lake, from Lake Morgan. Up the hill, he had a wind vane there, and up the hill to a water tower on top of the hill. And that's how he irrigated the garden.
So you have a picture of the water tower.
Yeah. That's the front yard. This is the backyard. The backyard had a barn, grew banana trees on top of the hill. I mean, there's no muck or anything up there. And what they did is they took muck from Lake Emma and brought it up on top of the hill for his gardens. And he was very successful growing bananas, along with about everything else you can put in the ground. This is another picture of the backyard. There's the water tower. The vein is, I think that's it right there. You just barely see it in the picture. And this is my great grandmother, Emma, in her rose trellis. Those are all roses, all up and down the thing. Strawberries planted all over the place, everything. But you look at it, it will grow. They look at it, it will grow. This is one of the houses that sprang up after Villa City was organized. It's a family from Baltimore that moved. The Hood family, Dr. Hood, had several kids, but unfortunately one of them died at childbirth. And then another one, I believe the older boy, I'm not sure where he is, but had appendicitis. So he had 2 deaths in the family after they moved to Villa City. And that shook him up. Both those children were buried in the cemetery we were talking about. There's a cemetery back over here. And both those children were buried there, and they moved back to Baltimore, very distressed. A typical oak tree, my grandfather called this a silk oak. I'm not sure if that's really the name of the oak tree, but the guy sitting on one of the branches, absolutely huge. It looks like a live oak to me, but you know. Ambrose Spencer, Lake Spencer is, as you come into the area, Lake Spencer is right on the side. He was sent down there by his parents to dry out. so he was by himself on Lake Spencer, did a lot of fishing. The kids found out why he was there and wouldn't leave him alone. Picked on him constantly. I've got all kinds of letters and stuff. But anyway, they named the lake because he was the only guy on the lake. This is Lake Emma. One of the pastimes that my grandfather and all his buddies did was built a steamboat. And intending to go up and down the Flatmacaha and do the whole thing. Well, this is kind of small scale of what actually happened on the Flatmacaha with the alligator and a lot of those same dogs, I guess. Yeah. They organized the post office in Villa City, which
Post office in right here.
yeah, I've got the certificate. It was actually Sumter County at the time. That's when they organized the post office.
1886.
1886. Frank Barlow, who was my great grandmother's brother, was postmaster. And the town of Villa City, Sumter County. And this is the post office. That's Frank there. It's on his porch. Has a little sign up here that says post office. It's on the front porch. And here are a couple of letters that were. This one was mailed to Villa City in 1892. And this is mailed from Villa City. This is postmarked here by Frank. My grandfather, born in the day, who happened to be going to Rollins College first year of opening down in Florida, in Winter Park. They had moved from Sanford and opened in Winter Park. And all along the creek and around the lake, there was all this pure white clay called kaolin. I mean, a very fine, high quality potting clay. And so great grandfather said, "Oh, I can make money at this." So he got a bunch of the clay and fashioned a teacup out of the clay. But couldn't get it fired. He needed a special kiln, I guess, to do that kind of thing. He sent it to France. And it came back. My brother owns it now. So that's a teacup made from the Lake Emma kaolin from Flatmacaha. And let's see, this is my great grandfather. He's the one that started it all. after the Civil War. This is Emma, his wife. Lake Emma is named after her. This is Desire, their daughter. Lake Desire is named after her. This is Arthur, one of their sons. Lake Arthur is named after him, and that's my grandfather, Morgan. And, well, can you tell, he went into the military. Came out as a colonel. Yeah, that was my grandfather. He's the one that I recorded there. This is Lake Emma, that's taken from the house, looking across Lake Emma, Lake Lucy in the back. And that's Emma. Got several pictures of her as a younger woman, I think around the time she got married to GT. I call him George GT King, George Thomas King, and GM King, George Morgan King. Everything's initials. It's the only way to keep track. This is Emma here as an elderly lady. And this is her mother. And no, this is GT's mother. This is Emma's mother. And this is Desire, the daughter.
This looks like it was taken later on in the 1890s.
Yeah, it's right about time they left. They left in
1895, 1896.
Well, when they went back up north. The freeze is 1895, and by the end of the year, most of them were gone back up north. We had bad freeze, not like the one this winter. We had 2 nights of 25 degrees here. Well, that was one night of 14 degrees, and the next day went up to 80. And all the trees were full of sap. And when the next morning, they just split wide open, right down the roof, killed everything. That sun, there was no clouds. Every time it's that cold, there's no clouds around. So next day, it was nasty. But that's family in the yard. GT's here. Grandfather's here, still here, doing his militaries. Here's Emma. Arthur, the oldest son.
Frank Parla.
Frank Parla's Emma's brother. This is George King. I think that's George, that's GT's brother and his wife, all sitting out in the garden. Took a lot of publicity shots because they were selling property in Florida. That's GT having a picnic over here on Lake Desire. Still haven't found the exact spot where they did that. It's a little puzzle, but yeah, we figured got an orange sliced open, just showing off how good the
How did you say that they had the first house built there?
No, the Gaynors had
Gaynor.
it.
The Gaynors had first house.
Yeah, with the sawmill. They're already here. Yeah.
Didn't they blow that sawmill up? Or the
They blew
river?
up the dam.
They blew up the dam that went to it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
I know.
All kinds of stories. Another picture of the front yard shows one of the fish ponds and the fountain spraying. And this is the sacred lotus of Egypt. And all kinds of lotus blossoms growing there. I tell you, it's amazing what kind of gardens. I can't do anything. View of the front of the house. This is Desire, their daughter, with a butterfly net. And then the kids came out with a little newspaper called the Groveland City News. I don't know how many issues there were, but this is May 26th, 1888, and the price was 2 pence, whatever a pin was. That's all kids had. And he talks about, Mr. GT King's chickens are growing nicely. Not many have died. Mushmelons are doing well. And, this local news. They took this article out of the Zion General Conference, I think it was. Zion Herald. I'm not sure why they'd have a copy of the Zion Herald, but they have it. And he put the whole thing in to fill a page, I'm sure. And then advertisements and other things. Railroad irons wanted. I will give 2 pins a dozen for them. George M. King. The Villa City News for one and all only 2 pins, weekly, something, weekly paper.
That's a treasure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well. And that's my grandfather here and Arthur, his older brother. The gator, actually we skipped a picture. Yeah, they're in the boat and the gator's over here. Well, you've got to understand, in order to take this picture, number one, the gator had to be dead and not moving. Number two, you had to get the photographer down there with the tripod and everything else on the other side of the river. And it was quite a procedure to just get a picture. But anyway, they took a little setup picture of shooting it, which wasn't the actual shoot. Then they came up afterwards. You notice the gator's mouth is open.
Yeah.
Well, if you look real hard, there's a little stick in there.
Movie makers.
Yeah, and then
Oh, he's riding it.
yeah, you got to play on that.
That's the one that I remember seeing.
Yeah, this is not that's my grandfather, but that's a friend of theirs, Irving Watson, I think is his name.
Who was it? Who was it again?
Irving Watson, I believe is Watson. There are a lot of kids in Village City. That's Arthur, on a horse in the backyard, the older son. And this is Arthur on his first day going to Rollins. In fact, he had an Indian head penny in his pocket. Good luck. Good luck. I got that penny. Grandfather kept it in the room. But yeah, he's on his way to Rollins, which took most of the day to get to Winter Park from Village City.
Taking the train?
No, buckboard.
Oh, hit the buckboard for that?
Yeah, there's no train.
Oh, you didn't hit the buckboard in Mascot and then train down over to...
I don't know. All I know, he's walking there. And this is my grandfather. His name was George Morgan King. Everybody called him Morgan. This is a Morgan horse, Molly. And this is Lake Morgan in the background. So, yeah, Lake Morgan is on the north side. Morgan. Like Morgan and Morgan. Not even close. And that's my grandfather right here at Rollins. With a bunch of his buddies.
What did he study? What did he study?
My grandfather, well, he went into the military. So I imagine if they had a military science, I don't know. What that curriculum was, that's a good question. What was Rollins teaching?
We'll look into that.
Yeah. Well, this is before World War I, so when it broke out, the whole education system changed to get soldiers educated, but I don't think they knew about that at this point. I think this is when the Kaiser started doing his thing. Oh, yeah. And then 1895, February 5th, that was the big freeze. And this is a picture afterwards. The fruit just dropped, everything dropped, the trees were split wide open. It was devastating. It killed agriculture. The whole state, all the way down to Miami, was freezing. Snow, there was snow in Village City.
Ice related on some as far. In northern Florida, I know there was pictures of ice.
Yeah, on the Capitol building. There was ice on the Capitol building. Yeah, in Tallahassee. Yep. And this is the historical marker that's up there now on Lake Emma Road. Lake Emma Road goes about here, Maryland Avenue, and there's a historical marker right on the side of the road up there, talking about the freeze. The state, post office, church, school, photographic studio, dispensary. I don't know what that really is. Probably work on it. Did well. She's an old English lady.
Not marijuana?
Nowadays, yeah. No kidding. Woo. So the warm spell, yeah. December 29th, before, there was a freeze, and it dropped the leaves off the trees. So it's like a normal sort of freeze. And then a warm spell after that freeze filled all the trees with sap. It was in the 80s like it was this year. January got up into the 80s, 85. Well, all the trees started budding and bringing the sap in and everything. On February 7th of 1895, it dropped down in the teens all over the state. I don't know if the lower state was in the teens, but it was.
Maybe in the 20s, I think. Down there.
Yeah.
It usually gets that way in Miami.
It was bad.
I used to volunteer at the Baker House in Wildwood. They were notable people and they went through the same thing.
Yes. Oh,
They
yeah.
went in the cattle factory.
Everything. Yeah, that was it. We talked about the Great Freeze of 1894-95. It's kind of the title of the thing. A lot of students aren't hearing about that, but we've got kids coming through here sometimes. Yeah, they don't teach that. That changed the state of Florida. I mean, totally changed. The agricultural state down in whatever was left, the pine trees weren't affected by the freeze. So we just stayed entire industry, and that did pretty good. That did pretty good. The frozen trees exploded when the warming sun returned. Yeah, hopes and dreams broken, the settlers left. Last original house, the Gano house that I showed you a picture of, was demolished in 1968. Yeah, it was nasty. And it ended a lot of stuff. My family, we all moved up north.
Was that house from too?
The house is gone, yeah. They didn't burn, from what I hear from people that live out here, Simon Brown and Wilson. Anyway, no, they took one part and reused it. If you go to Claremont Historic Village, they've got the Townsend House over there. It's built for Townsend. What was his first name? He was the first minister. Well, I don't know, he had one black church, I think, in Vernon. And then he moved, I'm not sure how it started. Anyway, the church built a house for him. And you go into the house now, it's being restored in Vermont. You look at the floorboards and how everything is Monty Pine floors, solid floor. And the widths, they vary. There'll be a bunch this wide, a bunch of, because they came from other houses. So they used whatever they could find. They didn't throw stuff out.
I didn't want to go through there, we just hadn't been there when it was open.
Yeah. So, yeah, the houses were taken apart. And then the last house, more. Oh yeah, that's my brothers and I will be dedicated to marker. That was 100 years after the freeze. We missed the founding date of those cities, so we did it for the
So you missed the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s.
So, myself, my younger brother Peter, who's retired, he's a VA doc, he's semi-retired. My older brother David, who's a retired neurologist in California, he'll be out there in a couple of weeks. And then my next older brother Steve, who's a musician, who did a lot of radio jingles, and that kind of stuff, had a recording studio and stuff. He's the bridge, the wood bridge, we showed you. This is the second bridge. This is 1932 that replaced that bridge.
Iron Bridge or
So they made it 30 years. But they replaced it with this metal bridge. My grandfather is standing right there in the middle of the bridge.
He still came back in the 30s. I know you said he came back.
Yeah, after World War I, he was
Okay.
an officer in World War I.
Yeah.
After he came back to the States, and that was hard. Yeah, he made several trips to Florida to try to reclaim. See, when everybody left, nobody paid taxes, and the property just went back to the state, all back to the
One at
state.
Orange Groves then afterwards that they all, Orange Groves all along the area, right?
Well, there's nobody here to maintain anything, and the groves were dead anyway, so, yeah, there was just really nothing there. And the east, when my grandfather started coming down, pictures, the other pictures we have, are just fields and water weeds and stuff, and, no tree here and there, but, yeah, no growth. So he came back down and he wanted to get some property back in the family, so he really be open traded and made many trips to Berries, and I've got a whole stack of legal stuff where he was buying and selling property and closing roads and opening roads. And eventually ended up when he passed away, my grandfather, my dad inherited 140 acres, which was pretty much what the blue over here between the lakes, and then a little more down here. I wasn't, it was right out there. And then my dad retired, he ended up selling property for his retirement. And when he passed away, my brothers and I inherited 1.2 acres. Little house lot right there. So, yeah, we ended up selling that and buying property over here on the river, which is where I live now. Little house, the root steps. The root steps. That's the whole Groveland family. Yeah, that's the Meadow Ridge. And then in 1961, they replaced it with concrete bridge. And now, just in the last couple of years, it's been redone again, wide. It's big, but still not big enough. They developed, City developed so much. It's just, you need a semi on that bridge, you'll get a drop on the side. That's today. And this is the Gano house that I showed you before, back then. This is in the 60s, 61. The Gano house is still here. It had been moved down to where the bridge is. Nobody ever tore anything down. I got to say that they didn't want it down here. They wanted to use it for commercial property, so they actually moved it down to where the bridge is. Didn't throw anything away. And that's when it was funny. So 62.
Well, we've only really been around for 23 years.
Wilson Shepherd says, also I think Cortez owned it, and used it for a hotel, I believe. Oh, yeah. My grandfather told me that after he went back to Baltimore, he enlisted in the National Guard. But that was as a recruit.
What do they call those from back then?
Oh, haversack. Yeah.
The back.
Yeah, I forgot what that. Before haversacks, I think.
Sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the attire for war. And then he was in the cavalry, National Guard, and always loved horses, so.
It looks like the field uniform.
Yeah.
The field.
I think that's, I think he was a captain at that point. And then he worked his way up to major. He was a major, deployed to France for World War I. It's him and this is his staff in France. They were still in command of a railroad line, Yankee division, doing transportation for the National Guard. Transportation, going to the front, getting prisoners, bringing supplies, going to the rear, bringing prisoners back, getting more supplies, and back and forth to France.
Still striking his favorite pose.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting newspapers and stuff, so going on in the world. Yeah, still standing.
Still.
Yeah. It's crew in one of the parades in France. You asked about the pictures. Well, this man took a picture. This is George Parlow. is a self-portrait that he painted.
Wow.
Quite a dandy, then.
Yeah, yeah, and then another picture, George Parlow was Emma's brother. Her other brother, Frank Parlow, was the postmaster. And then she had a brother too, which died But anyway, George Parlow, the photographer, retired from Florida from Rhode Island. This is a picture, George F. Parlow, you kind of almost see it there. That was his photography studio in Providence, Rhode Island. And, Ernest, can't think of last name, but anyway, he was the first professional black photographer in really New England, I believe. And George Parlow hired him and put in partnership with him, got him going, and eventually started his own studio. I'll look up his name, but yep, that was the photographer. He made his mark. It's an old newspaper, it's hard to read and everything, but it says G.F. Parlow, George Parlow, photographer for more than half a century. Grandfather, first photographs on paper. Yeah, and he's the one that took all these pictures. And then his brother, Frank Parlow, is the postmaster.
What was it before he was postmaster?
Yeah. Franklin Sears Parlow. This is on Cape Cod, where the cemetery is. In memory of Franklin Parlow. Died in Florida, and they're buried. We don't know where he is, but we got a good idea. He's in Villa City, and he's right here in the cemetery, Villa City, because he died while he was down here. So that's one of the little quests that my family's been on, to locate his grave. And I think it's still there. But, yeah.
When did he die?
Here again, if we knew and recorded, we could tell, but it was after, I think 1906 is the last time it was mentioned in letters that we have, going back to that point. So 06, 07, he was pretty sickly at the end. Someone died in Grant, but there's an affidavit that this lady, Mrs. Brown, did when she went to visit Franklin Parlow when he was sick at his home. And his wife at the time, Catherine Parlow, was, the affidavit says she behaved in an unwifely manner. And Mrs. Brown was upset that she wasn't taking care of Frank, and Frank was bad off, and she got that notarized, and we got a copy of it. It was an affidavit in case he died. Well, he did die. I don't know why, when, or, whatever happened to that. So Lucy, his wife Lucy, Augustus Sears, that's what Lake Lucy was named after, her, because she passed away before they came to Villa City. So out of the 4 lakes in the area, this map doesn't show it, but Lake Lucy is down here. There's Lake Emma, Lake Morgan, Lake Desire, and Arthur here. The biggest lake they named is this is the 1941 area before anything really started building back up out there. And it shows lots of roads, lots of jungle and everything. Well, this is now. Here's Lake Emma. Here's our house. This is Lake Emma. All of these things that my great-grandfather envisioned really came to pass. And it's developed all around. This is our house over here. And this is Trinity Lakes, which is on 19. Here's
Trinity
Lydia's
Lake
in
President
Trinity
here.
Lake. Yeah, it's right over there. And Trinity Lakes used to be a cemetery. So, and there's one grave, Franklin Parlow's grave that's out there. But I believe it's right here, right outside the northwest corner of the development. Lowry Brown owns that old property.
And that's what you were talking about,
Yeah, he's got, and livestock and stuff out there, and he's more than happy to let us come on and find that grave. So when he's ready, we'll lay our liner or something and see if we can find the grave. But yeah, it's right there, and I think the development missed it. That's it. And I have these lovely books I'm selling for $15. Go to the City Community Association, used to be a homeowners association, but had too much of a stigma, and it wasn't mandatory, it was voluntary social media. So we're the ones that got the historical marker.
Your family was certainly
Yeah.
notable in this area, and your parents still live.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that was,
Thank you.
well, thank you for coming in. Crazy. My grandfather, got this lot, where my grandfather lived, is 3 hours right here.
Now I know whenever I look on it, Google Maps.
That's where the historical marker is, right on the road.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Tour then, inside here? Gonna go around inside?
Oh,
Yes,
certainly.
yes, everything.
Never been here.
Actually, it starts, we have that since we're giving a presentation, but it starts right in there.
Okay.
And then you work your way towards the 2000s. Technically, it starts over in there.
Yeah.
So lucky to have all this pictures.
I'm so happy to make them, they saved us. I mean, this stuff's 140 years old, and it's yours.
Most people throw that stuff away when it's not very old, and then
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Silly reason they cut
I don't know how old you are, but I know it's a lot of fun.
Okay, next.
Jason. Jason. That a good?
That's one way to get out. Come here, Amy and Jackson. Amy, Jackson, please.
Are you talking about David Crone?
Yeah, watch out for those bears.
Tim LeBaron.
When he was only 3?
He was only 3.
That's Howard, I'm keenly interested in your talk, because I'm interested.
Oh, okay.
I said I was interested in it, that's why I was keenly interested.
Okay.
Company, well, hopefully she didn't get eaten by the alligator.
It's not a very big one.
It's a baby.
I would eat her toes. Doing fine. My husband passed away.
Are these out of school?
That's very common.
Fairly long ago. We moved out, my son-in-law. He had his mother. Oh, I didn't know her.
I'm always trying to do that while I was over there.
You got Weight Watcher.
We said, we actually figured out.
That's what I do. I don't know about the names, but I don't look down here.
Yeah.
Alexander Preston stuff.
Listen, you put these two together, we're gonna have to.
The only part that I think you have that's a little bit wrong is his name isn't A.L. Now the Dade City part right over there, what are you looking for?
That's on this one.
That's where we had it started at.
She don't, she don't.
You did.
So that's 8, yeah, but that should be 8 p.m.
Yes.
I'm the middle granddaughter, yes.
I have an older one.
She's from South Carolina, and you're right about the Dade City part because she had business down there, but he was also from Marion County. He mainly would do his business out of Marion County.
No, she found out and she went to South Lake, she started
It
in
used to be a little
learning
store.
nursing and all.
It's still there.
Well, you just have.
Jason.
You mess.
She takes care of
To
the
mascot,
two
just
great grandkids.
make
She
a
gets
cross,
them on
bring them.
watching
There's a-
my little girl and
Yeah.
Wasn't it a gas, a gas station?
No, it
Preschool.
was,
Pre-K,
I'm like,
half of the
Elaine's
school
had it.
from August centers.
Yeah, every time I look
But
at
they're
it.
fixing to do
It's
that.
like, it's a
Um,
school. Okay.
Their husband's, grandmother is extremely ill. She live alone, so she has to take her daughter. And they're gonna move into her house. His grandmother and his mother will be living
Well,
there.
no, I was to learn about the other stuff. She asked me about mascot, and she asked me about Stucky. And I gave her the name. He made sure that that's the correct name. Yeah.
And then also,
Well, they built a house out on Lake Erie Road. And they've been out there 23 years. She's worked for the city.
yeah,
They're planning on.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to fix up the house, so then she had to sell her house. And then move up north. I'm thinking, to stay here because
You okay?
my medical insurance.
Oh, no, I'm just wondering.
And this.
Yeah?
They need to try
And a little stress?
It's gonna be a
They
few
don't feel
years.
we got her.
My son is gonna be a
Yeah, when you get more,
Yeah.
yeah.
One for me.
But I can't find the, yeah, World War II. I can't find it. I gotta go back to the.
Oh, yeah, uniform vendor? That would be the one you put up. Is the one that-
I know, I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where our granddaughter, she's at our house today.
Yeah, it was just the last.
Come on, let's go see the rest of. That's our daughter's show right there.
Oh my
Ah,
So just like a phone, you just tap it. Type your name.
No.
Okay. Oh my God.
Because late night shoots, you guys start to do something. And then today.
Right.
And then we got on top of PD visitors. So it cleared because I did some set changes. So eventually I'm gonna fix it where it won't stay on one time.
So I guess that is.
I fixed it.
Trying to howl at me. Howl at the moon.
That was a good presentation. Thank you, Howard.
Oh, well, there's plenty more. I have to clean it down, you know. Those pictures, books. Amazing.
One day I would like to get more, I mean, I have the Villa City book, but I'd like to actually go out there and you show me.
One day I'd like to get some more people in my family interested in it.
Yeah, well, you have to take this.
If I was a member of your family, I'd already been.
Yeah, they're, the only king left is, the king name is my son. And my daughter is also king. they named they're not married, they named their son after their partner. Johnson. He's a real nice guy. But I sure wish he was named
King.
Dalton King. But yeah.
That would have been a cool name.
They're getting, yep. They're getting fewer and far between in my family. They had all the babies years ago.
What about your brothers?
Well, they're pretty much better shape than I am.
No, but did they have any kids? Any?
No boys.
Oh,
No boys. 3 brothers, no boys. They all had boys.
girls. Well, the legacy will continue with the King name.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, but yeah, if they just they're not into the history stuff yet. I only really got interested in
Whenever you get older, that's usually when it happens.
40, probably in my 40s before I realized what my dad had tucked away. And, went through it and started piecing it together. But you all do that, right? It's not taught, it's not encouraged. Change is good. Get this back out of there.
Yeah, I'll move it. You don't have to move it. We may keep that because I don't know how we're just going to have.
Yeah. Okay.
I still need some work.
Okay.
They don't know what did you start.
Stuff here.
Veterans. So I'm gonna put the new wall back up and I'm gonna make a new one. Because that was all working. But they're also doing this one on the tablet that people can search. We have more room to do like a history of it and stuff like that, and like their service. So you can search them and I don't have pictures for pictures. It's just a test. But like they get the names, so the names are here, kind of the history of the question.
Will they be stuck in looking at history?
It might. Just for the veteran position. Oh, so that's gonna be, for the community stuff, that's gonna be a separate, they can go just to the website. So if you come here, there's a search on our website, type in stuff. And so we do any article that I've got up here, so this is the balance between the and then there's like a Maxwell history, because
Okay, well, you got everything I need. It's all there.
I don't think it's all there. I'm sure Mr. Southall has information. Here's some of the schools. Edwin running up the land. I only have the Maxwell history because you can't become someone else for your name. Shame. Because Marley always calls me, she's got a meeting with her. Sweetie. Yeah, you can look through your head sometimes, but I don't have any of the other families except for Maxwell. I know I'm like with the Hodges. I'm excited.
I am, because I got a Taylor descendant.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
That one
Yes. 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 Definitely. Yes. Miss Williams, I will try to get any more on Mr. Stuckey himself and his business partner. Yes. And I think it was bought out by Mr. Powell and Sharp, another government operation out there.
Yeah, they had a partnership.
Yep.
If you want to start or take a break, I gotta go outside. So if you want to wait until some more people show up, maybe, and then start, how long do you think it?
Oh, not long.
So maybe when I come back, there's some more people. Oh, but did you have a guest book when you come here as a docent? And I'm gonna have instructions too. I'm gonna be doing it next. It's not up here already. click here for the bookmarks. And then it'll open up here, and it's right there at the top. This is guest book. I gotta run out there.
What are you out there for?
I gotta go make some kind of announcement about these.
Bye-bye. I know.
I might do it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Right here.
Because we moved the school and we have to move the pictures.
We want to see his parents.
That's all right, don't worry about it.
Because we moved that, we have to move the pictures. We may have the yearbook.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just looking, I saw my uncle and all that, and I said, well, I know that my mom and dad's have to be here somewhere.
They are, we have to move those pictures because we rearranged everything. So we now have it where the history starts there and then all of the school. And all the rest of it. See?
Is Miss Paget still running this?
She hasn't come. She's still with us, but she hasn't been to the last couple of meetings.
How's her health? So.
So still getting older, but
Some people say. You think so? Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm reading that there was one.
Later on in that, no, you're asking about the current. There is a
Is
current.
there
post.
one?
Yes, there is.
Where is it?
Forgot.
It's okay.
I live in Marion County, but I am here. But there is a post office in Mascot. Yes. On the road somewhere, not here.
You know where it is? I'm trying to think where that
Way down there, you see it all right as you're coming in.
Yeah.
Maybe right there, coming from Groveland, right at the
is.
beginning.
West, I've been in City Hall, yeah.
Yeah, it was 33 cuts off. Yeah. I think it's right about here. I'm sure it's not out.
Oh, I know where it is.
Midway Avenue.
I think it's that stretch you're talking about, like, between.
Midway Avenue. Right there. Whenever you're off, you
Yeah.
can see right here.
That's just before 33, like.
Because it says post office to the road on Midway Avenue.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to
remember it now, yes.
That, of course, is.
No, I was just reading about the original one, yeah, that's why I thought to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a lot of research on
I have been doing a lot of research on Mascot.
that. We're gonna start doing those
You
things.
guys seem to be
Oh, I will.
historians. Do you guys know about Webster?
Webster.
A little bit about Webster, not the.
Yeah, I know
Well,
the flea market is.
The funny thing is, I went into their library. It's a beautiful library.
You went to the Julian Rowe Library there?
I guess that's what it's called. It's a brand new kind of library, you know.
Out in the middle of nowhere, almost.
And I went in there and I said, "Do you have a book? You'll love this, right? A book on the history of Webster." So we don't. They have no.
Nobody's written on Webster.
You know, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in the Webster library, right? And they don't have that.
Yeah.
Of course.
There is one, but so the woman said to me, "Well, you know, I'll look for you. We're a full service library."
Yeah.
And she goes online and says, "Yeah, it's about $58." Well, that's not gonna pay $58.
Bushnell may actually have it
Yeah,
somewhere.
something.
She said something like this. She said there's like a 3 or 4 library system.
Yeah.
Bushnell was one of them. There's a few others. But
Whoever's in the main museum that they have in Suffolk County.
so what's that again?
Bush,
Yeah.
the museum there for Suffolk County.
Museum.
I
Okay.
don't think I've been to that.
I haven't been to it. I've talked to them, but I haven't been to it.
Been to the,
I might try that.
been to the graveyard several times.
Yeah, the Bush-
So maybe not in the library, in the museum.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Howard.
Okay, see you later.
It's an interesting place, Webster.
My family goes way back.
I ride my bike in there. I lead rides in there. And it's very interesting because if you know where the downtown kind of area was, and that is Doje's donut shop there. And the train actually went right through. I see pictures. I went into the city hall and saw pictures of that. I said, "Wow, what years ago?" Because the only thing I read was the Wikipedia. Am I holding you up? You got some. The only thing I could find was like Wikipedia, and they said that there was a very significant vegetable in like the 30s or 40s.
And earlier than that.
And I'm wondering what happened to them. Did California displace them?
The villages and all the other stuff started to be bought up.
So much later. You
That's
know,
how it goes. Citrus industry and everything like that. The citrus industry ended in the 80s and such after the great freezes. Then.
so you think maybe the freezes hurt the vegetable market industry as well?
Yeah, and
I'm trying to
flying up.
Because as you know, where the
My family were there originally back in the 1850s and on up. So if you see Center Hill, Center Hill was the green bean county. Yes.
Tell Jordan, did you hear me that? The group's come, hello, how are you?
Oh,
So can you put up more chairs?
yeah.
They were here.
Huh?
They were here, because they just said there was only about 10 chairs put up, and
Well, we didn't know how many we
they're
would
coming
have.
back. So
All right.
like, turning around the
Let me go
bus.
get more chairs. Are you going to stay for the presentation?
Yes, I'm here.
I would like to talk to you more.
Yes.
Hang on.
I'm gonna go tell Jason.
No, please.
How you doing today?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good.
You okay, Ms. Howard? Ms. Williams? Do you need a microphone?
I think I will use one, yeah.
I need a basic.
Oh, I thought you said we had a rig.
That's it?
That's it.
Hang on, let me get the other chair. and then I'll need it.
Yeah, do that.
I'm trying to supporting it.
It is.
I thought so. I thought that's why you took a break.
No, not just that, but I was trying to figure out, I was about to say, yeah. Because I'm a little blocked away too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, I can stand. No, because they're gonna start coming in.
Yeah, I just thought it was so strange that the library in a certain town did not even have the history of that town. You know? It's kind of, but, and then it was funny, it said something similar to what you're saying. Is that, well, there's like a 3 or 4 library system, and it's probably in
Probably in the
might have said
museum.
Bushnell
But that would be
or
with the museum.
Sumterville or something like that. I couldn't
Well,
remember.
Sumterville, right up the road. But you were asking about what happened to it all?
The vegetable industry, apparently, well, what I was getting ready to say.
Tomatoes, green beans, watermelons. There was a whole bunch of stuff. And that was, they said, over at the flea market over there in the farmer's market, that's where they used to sell. And it wasn't just people from there, it was people from around here who would go over and sell their wares and vegetables down over at the flea market over there. And then up in Center Hill, which is
I know where it is.
on the
Right up
tracks,
there, too.
is where the green bean capital was. A green bean capital.
Celery and
celery and everything like that. So all of that, and then developments have come in and other stuff.
Something killed it.
There was.
Whether it was temperature or, in other words, a freeze, like the
Freezes in the 80s killed
California,
this century.
the California might have taken off and just competed with them.
The freezes and stuff did that.
Because I found out also that those pavilions at the flea market were built for the vegetable industry way back then. Because when I first went out to that flea market, I said, I can do research pavilions just for this flea market. This goes back, and I was trying to understand if they spent that much money to build those pavilions out there, it must have been a great thriving industry.
It was.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have, let's see where I have it. If you've never seen it, because my family is from around here. I'm from Marion County, but my family was in Lake County before it was Lake County. And they were there in Webster before. If you remember Camp Lake.
Yeah, I like the whole thing.
That is my family. That is my great John Benjamin Gant, who's married over in London. Is my great
Right past
Great.
Lincoln Cemetery too.
That's where he is buried, and that's where his first wife Mary is buried, and his second wife is buried. That is my, let's see, there's me, there's my mother, there's her father, there's his father, and then his mother, and then his mother's father was John Benjamin Gant. So that's my 6 times granddad. And so they came in the 1850s from Georgia. Actually, they came from Georgia to Marion County, and then they bought the land out where the Baptist church in the lake is out there with him, John, and then his brother Jason.
Is the church near the lake, or is it on?
It's on the road. There's the road where you know where you were at the library?
Yes.
That road?
Okay.
That road.
471.
471, if you continue and take that all the way down. Not the road that goes south, but the road that goes west on there, where the library was. Go all the way down there, follow it, and you'll go past the Baptist church.
Yeah. So there's a boat ramp. Do you know where that is? The boat ramp on
Camp Lake.
It goes to Camp Lake, and then it goes the other way as
I haven't
well.
been on that road in a while.
So that's where a lot of the boats that are fishing, they put in right there, right at the edge of that road. It's one of our stops. It's a little bit. And that's where we stop.
Did you take a bike group out?
Yes.
Ah, really? Where are you originally from?
Yes, it's pretty easy.
New York.
Of course.
Okay,
One
here's-
person knew in 2 words.
Oh, I knew it. I was just gonna say. I would just wanted to hear exactly where you were.
Yeah. We start over at the Van Fleet Trailhead on Maple, the Maple Trail.
Mhm.
That's what my wife's called.
Good. Now that was
I
the old one.
love Webster. It's such an interesting place, and I keep asking questions as I'm riding around, because in those days, it had to be like in the 1920s or somewhere, where they established municipal water. You don't have municipal water in rural areas like this. That was unique. You know what I'm saying? You know, to have a town, a little municipality that had water like that. It's a happening place at one time.
There's a picture of Center Hill back in the 90s. So the railroad, that line that you're talking about, that goes through
Right,
Center Hill.
it goes down state.
That's the
same
road that would go down.
Right.
It did down the same way
Right.
through Center Hill. So this, I only know, is the old Bevel Hotel.
Uh-huh.
And it was there up until 2011. And as you can see, they flattened all of the old buildings in town. So none of them stand anymore in Center Hill. This building was.
There's one road there that runs obliquely off of 48, I guess that is. I'm trying to think of the other road. And when you go down there, you can see that there was industry, or there was something that it's an oblique road that runs there. If you know which one I'm speaking of, it's kind of interesting. I think you answered that question. So what was that railroad in relation to that? Is that near there?
Yeah. So there was two different railroads. The railroad that went through downtown Webster and then went through downtown Center Hill was the Atlantic Coastline Railroad.
Okay.
Now the railroad where in Maybell, there was a railroad that went there. That was part of the Coleman Cutoff. So in Coleman, in Sumter County, Coleman between Wildwood, there it would split off from the main line, and cut, and went all the way down to Auburndale. Hang on. And from there, that was the Seaboard Airline Railroad. So there was two different railroads. And so they did compete up until the 1960s, and then they merged together, and then it was called the Seaboard Coastline. And then in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they abandoned this railroad line out here that went through here in the 80s, and they abandoned the rail line that went through Maybell as the cutoff in the 80s. So they just
Is that the one that's the Van Fleet now?
That was a part of it, yes. So they abandoned that back in the 80s. And
Did
they
that really go
abandoned.
down to Groveland? So it seems like it goes.
It does.
Yeah, matter of fact, I have an answer my own question. I've written down because it ends in Polk City with the trail, and then you continue through a couple of.
So that was that, and then the line through Webster and all of that was also. So that went all the way to Pembroke. There was another junction to another railroad that was there, and then it went all the way down towards Tampa.
There was a picture, I actually took a picture of it in the city hall in Mascot. Not Mascot, sorry, in Webster. It shows the train station in Webster. And people getting off those big seats. And the woman explained where the railroad station was. When we passed there, we see the foundation. We always wondered what it was. And across the street was the old bank. The mayor lives in there. She got a blue car. But when I looked at that picture of the railroad, the center of town, I said, wow, this is a bustling place. So it turned into a ghost town. And I was trying to understand what did that? Was it the weather? Was it competition from vegetables in California?
People move away.
It just seems like to build all of those pavilions in the flea market area, it must have been thriving. It must have been really, to walk away from that, it had to be a good reason. That was my curiosity to get a book on that. I'm sure a book would explain what happened at that time. But we love it. We love riding. There's a tremendous network of those 700 level roads, 753, 747, 748. We go on, and we're able to ride all of those roads in there. There's no traffic, it's all rural, there's no development. And when I bring people here, some people come from Tampa and some from Orlando, and they're like, wow, we can't believe it.
Jordan, excuse me, we need to set up chairs.
More chairs?
Okay. Well, I wasn't going, sorry about that. I wasn't gonna sit, I was actually.
No,
gonna
I
stand.
know. Yeah, but,
Hang on, I need help getting the other chairs down.
I mean, I can get.
I can help.
Sure.
Have a seat. Stand, have a seat. No seats over there.
Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for coming back.
Just sit up front, there are enough chairs anyway, so somebody gotta put.
Yeah, sit wherever. We're gonna get more chairs out.
One hand nice enough to wait for us. Have a seat, there are not enough chairs anyway, so grab one. 11 chairs. You have any more to bring up?
I see a couple tall boys, but I can get the help with the chairs.
Tall boys right
Can I
there.
get y'all to help?
Tall boys right there, help with the chairs. Tell the lady right there, bring some chairs out. Thank you, John. They're gonna see some available, they're gonna bring them to No, I already got one back.
Here's one more. That's it.
Now bring chairs out, guys. Chairs. Thank you. No, I got that here. Oh, maybe a few more.
Do we have any more chairs?
You know what? I might.
I'd like to take pictures.
We don't have any more chairs, but I might see if we can, why we can.
I'm just kidding.
Let me see how many more we need. Are these two?
Let's see. We're almost there.
He's out there, but I'm gonna get him in a minute, but. Okay, he's coming probably for sure. Let me see how many more I need, and I might go there and, for a couple. So we have two more here. We have enough, don't we, or not? Because how many, 1, 2, 3, how many more? Come on in. That was me, and Jason's. He'll be here in just a second.
Put the chairs up here, guys.
Let me know how many more chairs I need, and
Trying to get
I'll.
a count for chairs. 2 more seats up here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. About 8 more chairs.
Oh, all your sisters here.
Just a few more chairs. 2 seats up here.
Okay, we need 8 more chairs.
Yes, ma'am. These gentlemen will help you bring some more chairs up.
Thank you.
Please give assistance, any of these gentlemen. Please, Alex, y'all help her bring some chairs over, please. Follow the lady in the green. She's bringing some more chairs. Thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna bring 8 more chairs now.
I'll move that.
I don't have nothing. No. Maybe, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. Did you take on your phone?
Huh?
Can you do your phone?
I can record it, yeah.
Record. We should get ready to get the
No. It's okay.
So that's just the current.
I just
Like.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Over in here.
That's what Pat said. Someone come down by you. We already got all the chairs from over there.
Oh.
That's it. We have to get more, yeah. Yeah.
because who tried to
That was what I saw that were over there.
And then she was like, he don't care about playing. Where it is. Well, it's like this town's
Oh, baby, we're getting started.
Sorry. Maybe not this ain't gonna be for kind.
I'm literally a reader, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm
Sorry. I'm the speaker. So.
Oh, okay. I guess we can squeeze one more in, maybe. I don't know if it's gonna.
Let's leave this open. Leave this open. Block that.
We're expecting this to be
Just move up here. Up here. Yeah, up here. Just leave the hallway.
I don't think there's no more room for more chairs, Tucker.
Sir, you look around, just watch behind you.
Sure.
think that's about it.
You're not going to be able to see back there.
Two. Around this way. Come up here. Pass back down. Two more up there. We're not. Back up. Yep, keep this open. Four seats up here. Okay, we're on your
I'm used to staying for hours on this. Yeah, we were actually talking about it pretty honest. Talking about one.
The other one. He has that.
Where's the power?
To the front.
It's on.
Jason. Okay, let's go get started.
Okay. Testing. Testing.
That's not on. There's a couple of seats up here.
Testing.
There it is. He's gonna do it.
Test. It's working. It is working. Good evening, everybody. If I can have your attention, please. If I can have everybody's attention. We're going to get started. Forgive the mask, but I had 2 surgeries on my mouth since February the 18th. The first surgery didn't work. They say, oh, we made a mistake. We got to go back in. I know. So that's the mask and the microphone. But I would just like to, I am just overwhelmed by the large group of students and adults that are here to hear about Stuckey. And I see a lot of BCC shirts. Oh, I'm sorry. When I went there, I graduated in 1975. And when I went there, it was Bethune-Cookman. All right. And we have a young lady from Stuckey who's actually her uncle. We had his funerals. Rakaya Williams. Anybody?
Freshman.
She's a you know freshmen? Are y'all freshmen? Oh, okay. So you all don't deal with freshmen. Ah, don't be that way. But anyway, I'm so glad you're here, and I promise I will not be before you long. And I want to also introduce to you another Stuckylonian, young lady from Stucky, but she went to the other school. She went to FAMU. Okay, Florida Agri. Her name is Shayla Mobley. How many of you ever heard of the term that it takes a village to raise a child? And you know, we're a little community. Stucky, I understand you made a little circle, and hopefully you'll run back out there. It's a little, actually, it was just a circle, kind of a loop. And it's a very small, unincorporated community west of here. And we grew up here. It was country. There are no, even now, there are no stop signs. There are no stores, no red lights, nothing. We were country. You know, we were the students when we had to go to school in Claremont or Groveland. And, you know, we were those little country people made fun of, you know, y'all from out there in Stucky. Okay? But I tell you at the end of this, I'm going to tell you how Stucky has shown out. You will not believe. But let's talk about the history. I think that's why you're here. About 100 and, well, no, it's actually more than 117 years ago. In about 1885, there was a gentleman by the name of J.W. Payne, who was an entrepreneur who came from Baltimore, Maryland, to St. Petersburg. And he ventured shortly after northeastward and settled in the wilderness, an area known as Sumter County, which is west of here. And it is believed that Mr. Payne owned an interest in the cargo passenger ship called the SS Mascot. And so when you were headed to Stucky, you passed through Mascot. So even though this is Groveland and the Groveland Museum, as you can see up here, we're all intertwined. Stucky, Mascot, all of these areas are, you know, we just came together. So it's not like Groveland by itself. Stucky, Village City, we just had a talk on that. But anyway, he settled in Sumter County, and he expanded his business, and he laid several thousand acres in the wilderness, and he formed a company called Payne Enterprise. And he started hiring Negro laborers. And the primary crops harvested were turpentine and timber. And if you get a chance to look around, we've got some articles and information on the turpentine industry and the lumber. So he hired Negro laborers, and they worked with turpentine and timber. Very lucrative business. And he was a man that wanted to leave a legacy. And so he named the settlement Mascot. So as Payne Enterprise began to prosper, there was a need for some additional laborers. And that's when he developed the property into North Mascot. And he built a 2-room shanties. Those little lean-to houses for the blacks, because a lot of blacks from Georgia who came down here looking for employment came with him. So he built some little shacks for him. And so those black settlers, you know, we believe that the Lord will see us through. How many of you heard your grandparents say that? Don't worry, the Lord is going to get us through it. And our ancestors, they were rich in spirit and faith, but they were poor in the pockets. But they made it work. So they did hard work. They believed in hard work. And so later, in the meantime, in Sumter County, there was another gentleman by the name of J.W. Payne. They were prospering. They were doing well. And in 1887, there was a section of Sumter County that was taken. So a lot of people didn't realize that part of Lake County used to be Sumter County. So they took a portion of that and expanded it. And then as Stuckey grew, some of the early families, Groveland, if you get a chance to, the name before that was Taylorville, which is Groveland, until 1899. And at that time, they sold the interest in Taylorville to Elliott, E.E. Edge, who began to relocate and bring Black families from Georgia to Lake County. And some of the first families that came to Stuckey, and Stuckey, the name was after a gentleman from Dade City, Florida, and they were in 1898, C.C. and B.M. Taylor, and they sold the land to A.L. Stuckey, who was a wealthy merchant from Dade City. So he purchased Taylorville from the Taylor brothers, and himself, he decided to rename the village, and we're called Stuckey still because they had the stills in Stuckey. So the Taylor brothers retained their holding in Taylorville, and then they sold it to E.E. Hodge, who began to relocate some Black families to Lake County to operate Edge Enterprise. Some of the first families who made their journey down here was Israel Gadsden, the Albert Blues. There was John Baldwin's, Ike Hart, and Ben Maxwell. And all of these families later, our church out there was Mount Olive Baptist Church, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Some of the early families of Stuckey was Elliott and Marianne Hodges, Henrietta, and we have some Hodges in the room right there. I'm a Hodges, and there's another family, Hodges out Erica. There was Henry and Miller Johnson. There was Bruce and Georgiana McKinnon and Esther Lee. There was Joe Lee Mamie, who married Eddie McDonald. There was Hattie and Lindsay. There was, she passed away in 1938, who married Georgiana Maxwell. There was Henry and Cora Taylor and their children. There were the Crawfords, Willie and Nellie Crawford, Andrew, Janie, my grandmother. There was Big Jim and Isabella Brown. There was the Reverend Elijah and Minnie and their son Raymond. There was Alzada Maxwell. So the Maxwell was a big family there. There were the Kinslows, and the first school for Blacks in Stuckey was founded in 1915, and the first professor was Professor Samuel Newsom, who was the first teacher. And during that time, each parent had to pay 50 cents per month per child as a fee attendance. And then you're gonna love this, the school term was only 3 months compared to our 180 days now. So as Lake County began to pay for public schooling for Black students in 1920, there was a lady named Miss Annie Servancy, who was our first public teacher. And in 1921, we had Miss Emma Pettigrew. We had 1922, Miss Robinson. 1923, Mary Fisher. 1924, Miss Eliza Williams, Miss Cecilia Pierce. 1928, Miss Arletha James. During the year of 1919, Mr. Elliott Edge purchased the Stuckey holdings in Stuckey. And so in 1924, he had the unoccupied portions of this new acquisition surveyed and subdivided into lots. And those lots were offered to Blacks for purchase. For the first time, Blacks got to be actual landowners, and they were so happy about that. Finally, in 1928, we established a church. In 1890, under the leadership of Reverend Chasen. At first, we were having a little service up near with Mascot. And then later, when there was a property down by Carolyn Mobley's house, and we had service there. And then we later built where they serve now at Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. Now, that's pretty much the basic early history. But I think Stuckey, how many of you have ever heard of Stuckey before today? Okay, what do you know about Stucky? I know you heard of the candy place, right? That's not it. Yes. A lot of people think that that's it. But I think what I'd like to emphasize a little bit about Stucky is the fact that I graduated from.
So make sure everybody.
Okay. When I was in high school, well, middle school, it was segregated schools. And so the people in Stucky went to Claremont, and when my mom, who's 94 now, yes, and her sister, who's Sheila's mother, is 92. So they're one of the few remaining older people in Stucky. It's so important that we got to get that history recorded. But they went to school because of segregation. They were bused to Eustis, and then some of them went to Leesburg. So we went to middle school in Claremont, and lo and behold, one of the worst things I think my parents, I thought, had ever done to me. The year before integration, they made us come to this all-white school at Groveland High. Oh my gosh. Why did they do that? We didn't even have to be there. We had one more year at least to be together with the all-black school, and they made us come. Why do you think they did that?
Better equipment, better funded.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because it was the right thing to do.
The right thing to do. And that's where I met this lady, like a Connie. She was one of the first, and we have been friends ever since. But you can imagine the fear. You know, it would have been better if all of us came at the same time. We'd have been kind of like united. You know, we're going to get together. We're going to fight this thing. We're going to be. But we came there about 20 of us. And oh my gosh, I was so nervous. We did not know what to expect. And we came, and they were looking at us, and we were looking at them. It's kind of funny. I remember standing outside the school, and I forget her name, it was a white girl, and we were kind of looking at each other, and she took her hair, she swung it. Well, I mean, we had a short afro, so I couldn't sling my hair, but I kind of, all right. And we kind of stared at each other. But you know what? In the beginning, there was some tension. There was a few problems. There was even, I remember, Connie, I don't know if you remember, and Sheila, remember there was, I forgot what it started at, but the word was out that there was going to be some problems. And I remember the white parents came up and the black parents came up, and everybody thought it was going to be this big. But luckily, that did not happen. But what I found, and you know what, when we leave things to children, things kind of work out. Sometimes it's the parents. It's the parents. But what we found at Groveland we found friends. And just like Connie Fleetwood, who was one of our famous mayors, but she was Connie Williams, yeah. We found friends and friendship that lasted. Yes, there were problems, but we worked it out. And fortunately, I went to college, and I went to Bethune-Cookman College, and I majored in history. And I ended up, I taught school in Leesburg for 10 years. And then I came to Groveland, it was Groveland Middle School, to teach. And I was the only black teacher there. But I long got over being the only. How many of you have ever been the only in a room? Whether you're black or white, you've been the only black. You've been the only white. Did you feel a little nervous? Did you feel a little scared? You probably don't feel that way now. But back then, you kind of felt something. But one of the things I'm most proud of is being the only black teacher at Gray Middle School, which is now Groveland High. The first year, I was elected Teacher of the Year. And then I was elected later, a couple years, I was elected again, Teacher of the Year. And I remember, I love that school. I remember there's, and if you look around, there's a place called Bay Lake.
Oh, yeah.
And And there was a lot of, to this day, I'm going to say it now, but I never felt comfortable saying the word rednecks. To me, that was derogatory, and I just didn't feel comfortable. But white people said it. They called each other that, or we call each, like what we say sometimes. We call each other, the word, but we mean it in a different way. But those students, a lot of people say, how are those kids from out there in Bay Lake and the Flatwoods? And, I know but those were the best students, some of my favorite students. And one year when we thought there was going to be some tension, and I went to class that day, and they had made me the biggest cake to my favorite teacher. And here are people talking about tension and there's going to be a problem. And I said, these people y'all are calling, these are kids. We love each other. We respect each other. They respect me. And to them, my kids, they say, I call them my kids. They said, Ms. Williams, you're just a teacher. We don't look at color. And see, that's what we got at Groveland. And Stucky, and I'm going to get to some parts where everything wasn't always. How many of you ever heard of, and we've had some people, and I'm going to talk about later, and Sheila's going to talk about some programs we have. But how many of you ever heard of the Groveland before? That's all over the news. And a lot of people say, well, what does that have to do with Stucky? What do you think that has to do with Stucky? We're just right down the road. But when that happened in 1949, the people from Stucky worked where? They worked in Groveland. They worked at BMW, the train depot. My mom, I used to tell the students all this, my mom was a maid. Sheila's mom was a maid. Sheila's dad worked at the packing fruit plant. Scoot up a little bit. Is that picture there, Jason, of the ladies in white?
It's in the back right now, but I can bring it out.
What you bring it out? Yes, a minute. Sheila's dad, Isaiah Hodges, worked at the packing plant. My mom was the maid. My aunt was the maid from the B part of the B. That was a big industry in Groveland, Busby and Wilkins. My aunt worked for the Busbys. My mom worked for the Wilkins. They cleaned their house. My dad picked oranges. Okay. This packing house, what do you notice about this picture? They weren't nurses, were they, Jason?
No, ma'am.
No. Jason, what about that? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The uniforms, or I don't know that much about the uniforms, but everybody thinks they're nurses, right? Because they're dressed in this like the nurses used to be back in that time. But the ladies would work. What they would do is they would take the oranges, and they had like a little knife, kind of shovel, kind of looks like almost a pie plate server. So they would cut the fruit, or the men would cut the fruit and the rinds, and the women would peel it and sectionize it. They would take that knife and a little scoop. So if you ever go to the store and you buy like the oranges or citrus in the jars that are like sectioned, so that's what they would do. And then they would go down the conveyor belt and they would be packed into those glass jars and then shipped all over the world. So I even found them. One boy, sorry to take over. One boy that was serving in World War II over in Europe, in their ration meals for the day, he got a can of oranges from the BMW can. So they were shipped worldwide.
So you said you noticed they're all in white. What else do you notice?
They're all white.
They're all white women. There are no blacks. They were not allowed in those positions at that particular time. But Sheila's dad, they worked in the packing, and my mom was the maid, and my aunt was the maid. And I used to tell the students, don't let your present situation determine your future destination. Because where you are now does not mean where you're going to end up. So here's the maid's daughter and the packing guy and the people who worked in the fields and picked the oranges. Our parents believed in education and how important it is. And they always told us. My mom was very smart, but they didn't get a chance to go to college. They had to work in we worked on the fields. We had to pick oranges after school on the weekends. I've got a cousin who built one of the nicest homes out there where we live. But do you know how they built that house? By working on the weekends, bringing all the children out here, picking oranges. So don't let where you are, and I don't know what your situation is or where you came from, but don't let that determine how you're going to end up. My mom said, listen, I didn't get a chance. We didn't get a chance to go to college, but we want that for you. And so they picked oranges and they farmed and they cleaned people's houses so that we could go to college. And so when I ended up at Gray Middle School on the 3rd floor in the building that sits there now, teaching U.S. history, and the window of my classroom looked out the street across, looked at the very house that my mom cleaned. And I thought, you know what? She was so proud of what we've become. So it's not about Stuckey or Trailer Park or where you came from. It's that determination and having parents who care and push you. I thought they was hard. I thought they was mean. I thought, especially when they forced us to come to grade before Groveland High School. But it's because they cared and they wanted better for us. And I don't look down at, I remember when I was going to Bethune, and out there where we live, we had, I think our house on our street, we were the last one to get a bathroom. Sheila, y'all got the bathroom before we did. We were the last one to get television. And we had the old station wagon, the worst, I thought was the worst looking car in Stuckey. And I remember them taking me back to BCC, and I was so ashamed. I did not want to go down there in that car. And did you know that thing stopped at that light just before the dorm? I thought, oh my gosh. But we made it. And I remember picking oranges after school, and we'd come home, and we would be dirty. My parents were dirty. But they had to stop by the store, get some grocery, go in the store, get something to cook. And I remember we were in Mascot, and I tried to slide down in the seats because I was so ashamed for somebody to see them all dirty like that. But you know, I kicked myself and I thought, oh no, I can't have that attitude, because that dirt and that old dusty clothes and that rag on their head, that didn't mean a thing. It's that character. It's that determination that they had, that they said, I don't care what. I don't care what you're thinking. I'm going in here just as proud. And I beat myself up over the years for that. Never be ashamed of your parents or grandparents or where they came from, what they had to do. Okay? Because they did it for us and they do it for us. But anyway, the Groveland Four in 1949, they came through Stuckey. And the riots, father saying, they remember as they got down on the floor and was so scared that they could hear